You guys, what the heck is a root? A root's just kind of a fancy word, or not a fancy word, however you want to say it. It's just an x-intercept or a 0. So you guys, for something to have 2 roots, it could be like this. Woo! And these 2 roots would be right here and right here. But if Mr. VC was like, I'm not drawing it like that. I want to draw it like this. I'd be like, cool, Vs. That also has 2 roots. Sound good? Anything? So another way to put it, maybe you just say that's an x-intercept. A root is an x-intercept, or some people like to call them zeros. They're all the same thing. Roots, x-intercepts, zeros. Boom. 3 different words for the same thing. What would something look like if it had 1 root? Ooh, does this one have 1 root? Yeah. Agreed. What if Lily, though, drew hers like this? And it just crossed once. Could that also have 1 root? You know what I'm saying? So there's some options. Or if VC said, I'm not drawing it like that, I'm drawing it like this. And his went down that time. That's fine. Those both have 1 root. Anything have no roots? What would that look like? He said a U what? She's saying, well, I got a U, but it's just not going to intersect that x-axis. Agreed, Beck. Or that U might be under the x-axis, but it never crosses that x-axis. Oh, well said. Ooh, what about this? Yeah. Doesn't that also have no roots? Love it. How do we find roots of a quadratic? You guys, they're just the zeros. So we got to just go factor it. If we can, let's go factor this. Toot or O-toot? Toot. I didn't ask Blake. I just looked at you because you should stop. What multiplies to be negative 16 and adds to be negative 6? Ooh, x minus 8 and x plus 2. That's why we love toot, because it's so quick. We get to jump right there. What are my zeros? X is 8 and negative 2. You guys, that means my roots, my zeros, my x-intercepts are 8, 0 and negative 2, 0. If we look at this, x squared, what's that graph going to look like? Thank you. It's going to be like that. What if it was a negative x squared? It's going to go like that. So you guys, here's what you're going to love about me this unit. Are you ready? I only care that you plot these roots. So we're going to go 8, 0, boop. We're going to go negative 2, 0, boop. Biscuit Baby's going to say, that's a positive x squared, so it's got to look like this. So all I care is that those roots are there. Then Biscuit Baby's going to be like, and it's got to face up. And Mateo might be like, ooh, mine went lower than Biscuit Baby's. I don't care. And then Blake might be like, oh, I'm due bare minimum, so mine's like this. So my point is, I only care about the general shape, that it's facing up because this was a positive x squared. I do not care where that vertex is. I care that it's going through those roots, and that's it. We down? Okay. Write the equation of something with 1 root. Anyone have any idea?
Y equals X.
Oh, he says y equals x because he likes basic things. Y equals x. Is he true? Does that have 1 root? Agreed. Ooh, what if you said, I'm going to put that one in red. That was y equals x. And then in blue, you said, what if I did y equals x squared? What about that, you guys? Would this blue one have 1, 0? Yeah, that's another great option. I love that. Any of those are great. What if, I know, here's the deal. What if we go to toot this? Let's try to toot it. What multiplies to be negative 15 and adds to be negative 4? No integers, I'll tell you that much. So this still has roots. Like, let me show you. If I graph this, it does cross the x-axis. If I did x squared, you don't need to graph it. Minus 4x minus 15. Do you guys agree? It does. Zoom standard that. You agree it does have 2 roots? Yes. It does have 2 roots. We can't find them by hand with toot or o-toot because they're not just nice integers. So you guys, we got to go use this thing. Anyone remember what the quadratic formula is? X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You guys, how the heck do we apply this quadratic formula? The coefficients of my x squared x and my negative 15 are my a's, b's, and my c's. So you guys, it goes, whatever's in front of the x squared is my a, whatever's in front of the x is my b, and whatever's the constant is my c. So I think the most helpful thing is to do a is blank, b is what, and c is what. What would we say those values are? A is what? 1, b is, c is, beautiful. And Mateo, I kind of actually love that you remembered I had a song for that.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's go apply them, you guys. X equals, because that's going to get me my root. What would negative b be if my b was negative 4? 4, thanks. My x is going to be 4. I'm sorry. My negative b is going to be 4 plus or minus square root. What would b squared be if my b is negative 4? 16. Minus 4, what times a, which is? And my c? All over 2a. Now, if Biscuit Baby goes, do I really need to write 4 times 1? No. Biscuit, you could leave out that times 1. Down here, Biscuit Baby, if you just want to say 2, just write 2. Let's simplify this, you guys. I'm going to just leave that 4. What's negative times a negative going to get me? Positive. 4 times 15? 60 plus 70. Oh, 60 plus 16? 76 all over 2. You guys, do you know how you type that in your calculator to get the actual values? I can't plug it in like that. I wish I could, but there is not a minus button.
Or you can do plus and then you can do minus.
4 plus root 76. Divide that by 2. And I got 6 point. Let's go. How many decimals do we want to go, y'all?
36.
Okay, 6.36. How would I do the other one?
Put minus
4 minus root 76. And then divide that by 2. And we get negative 2.36. Here's how you might try to enter it and watch, you're going to get it wrong. What if I type 4 plus root 76 and then I just divide that by 2? That wasn't one of my answers. What did I do wrong?
You gotta do a fraction.
Got to do a fraction. You guys, if I type this way, it's only dividing my root 76 times 2 and not this whole quantity. If you don't do a fraction, though, Mr. Coop, I could do it without a fraction, Coopy, if I put this part in parentheses. Are we going to forget that? We sure are. So what do we do instead? We're going to just go alpha y equals, like Cooper said. Go to the fraction, y'all. 4 plus root 76, divide that by 2. And then, if you don't want to type all that over again, can we just do the up arrow and say, I want to just change that plus sign to a minus sign? You know what I'm saying? I like those shortcuts. How many roots did we get here?
2.
2. You guys, then all we got to do, because I love you, we're going to go to our graph. We're going to say at 6.36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.36. Sorry. There's no room for it, is there? Negative 2.36, sure-ish. Will this positive x squared parabola be facing up or down? Up. So then we're going to just say, woo! On 13, how am I going to find these roots? I got to O2'd it. Oh, darn it. I got to O2'd it. O-T, O-O-T. What do we have to multiply together to be?
Negative 15.
Add together to be?
Negative 2.
What do you think? 5 and 3, agreed. One of them's got to be negative. Boom. With O2, we bring down that 3p squared. We separate this out into minus 5p plus a 3p. And we bring down my minus 5. See at the end, y'all. Did y'all remember to take out a 1 with that 3p minus 5? Okay, that's important. That's important. You guys, what would these roots be? What would these zeros be? Negative 1. And anyone else doing that one in their head? 5/3, right? And again, if you're like, dude, how did you do that in your head? We just set them each equal to 0. We add my 5, we divide by my 3, and I get 5/3. Those are my 2 zeros. What am I looking for? I'm looking for those on our graph. My x is going to be negative 1. 5/3 would be about 1 and 2/3-ish.
I think this phone might still be on.
This one's a little bit more narrow because just like you did on your test yesterday, you guys, the 3 makes it more narrow, makes it skinnier. This is a skinny little graph. 15 or 16, you name it. Which one are we doing, 15 or 16? Let's do 15, I dig it. You guys, could you go quadratic formula on every single one of these? You sure could.
Obviously.
I personally don't like the quadratic formula, but if you're like, dude, it's better than O2, then go do it. You can do whatever you want. Regardless if I go O2 or quadratic formula, I need this to be equal to 0 first. What do you want to do first? Do we want to subtract 8k squared or minus the 10k minus the 3? I like keeping my x squared positive like Beck was saying, but you can subtract 8k squared. I just don't like having a negative x squared personally. What are we doing? Let's make a class choice. Minus the what? Yeah, she's saying let's move that 10k. Kate, I'm with you, girl. So we're going to have 8k squared minus the 10k minus the 3. Now that it's equal to 0, you can go quadratic formula or you can go O2. Again, class decision. Either one works. Which would we rather do? Oh, okay. You wanted to hear my song again. All right. X equals negative b. What would negative b be? 10 plus or minus square root. B squared would be what? 100. B squared minus 4 times a, which is? A, C, which is? Ooh, you better say negative 3. All over 2a, which would get me? Yeah, I'm good with that. I would never do that on my own because I don't like quadratic formula, but good for you. Are we allowed to use our calculator to get us what that 100 minus 4 times 8 times negative 3 is? Sure. Anyone get 196 for underneath the square root? 10 plus or minus square root. Thanks, buddy. Square root of 196. So that's why we could have O2'd this or quadratic formula because it comes out nicely. So this is the same as 10 plus or minus 14 over 16. We can do this in our head. What's 10 plus 14? 24 over 16. 3 halves. So that's going to get us 3 halves. 10 minus 14? Negative 4 over 16 would get me negative 1/4. Agreed. Good job. Good mental math, Blake.
I already did it.
Oh, okay. You could just take the compliment.
I don't
You deserve it, Blake. You did in the calculator. I see what you're saying. He's being honest, John. I appreciate it. 3 halves is 1.5. Negative 1/4. Is this pretty skinny? Sure is, because we started with an 8k squared. Those are my roots. Guys, I'm good with us just saying it was 8k squared. Now, check this out. Kate agreed with me. Let's keep it positive by us moving this over. We had a positive 8k squared. What if Macy said, dude, I only wanted to move one thing. So Macy, what if your equation, Coop, can you stop tapping that, please? What if Macy's equation was 8k squared, plus 10k, plus 3, negative 8k squared. She just moved that. Mace, wouldn't you agree that your graph would be going down? And that's fine, because would she have gotten the same roots? She would have. So she would have gone over 1.5, and to the left, negative 1/4. Macy's would have been facing down, but would have had the same roots, and I would not have cared, because you would have had a negative x squared, therefore it should have been facing down. Sound good? Let's just do one of these. Which one are we doing? Do you want to go top one or bottom one? He voted for which one? So we're doing the top. Use your calculator. Let's go do it. Let's go to our calculator, you guys. Let's go type in x cubed minus 4x squared, bless you, minus 2x plus 8. So you guys, I said, hey, use your graphing calculator to approximate the zeros. So I don't care where the maxes and mins are here. How would I find the zeros? Look at second trace options. What do you see? 0. So option 2 is going to let me find the zeros. So if I do second trace zeros, does anyone remember look at the little prompt from your calculator. It says, what's the left bound? If I'm going to find this 0 first, I got to go to the left of it, hit enter. Then it says, what's the right bound? So you got to move your cursor, till you're on the right of that 0, hit enter, Then you got to hit enter one more time because they want to guess. Did anyone get, what did you guys get for your 0?
Negative 0.41.
Negative 1.414? Okay, great. So let's go ahead and say x is negative 1.414.
The other one is the positive.
Oh, a positive 1.414?
Yep. And
Oh.
the other one's 4.
Oh, look at you, Speedy McSpeedy on the zeros. That's so great. Second trace 0. We got to go to the left bound of all of them, hit enter. To the right bound, hit enter. Just to help it find the region. And we got 4. Agreed. We've got 3 zeros on this one. So if I've got my 3 zeros, guys, I'm just going to go negative 1.4. Sure, we're about there. Positive 1.4. Sure. And positive 4. And then, do you guys agree the general shape of my graph is an x cubed graph that we're going to just go up, and we're going to go down, and we're going to go up, and we're there.